Welcome back to episode 12 of Space Engineers: The Search for Intelligent Life with BossJones here. Last time we built the solar and some batteries on the plant and got some power happening for the base so I could get rid of the wind turbines. After that was done, I finished up the solar panels and then did a few more things, which I'll jump into and show you next and see what we'll do with that. As you can see here, I've now got 4 panels. I've built them up, completed the controllers for them so they are tracking the sun. I then got a little carried away with building, and I'll show you here in a second. I built some hydrogen tanks, and after I was done building the hydrogen tanks, I decided maybe I need to get on with engines and everything, so I finished up inside and built this. A place to dock the mining ship, a way to unload and load ice, produce hydrogen, and generators. So I also did a bunch of decorating and greebling around here with some shelves and some barrels and stuff. But we'll get up and we'll go take a look at these generators. Two chests, they're kind of on truss blocks, catwalks and steel beams. I got some pennant lights set up in here for the H2O2 generators. So that's all done. I had built this before down at the lake. I didn't feel the need to repeat that same content, so I figured I'd just get it done and kind of got carried away the other night. Down here we'll see we have all of our engines set up. So I think we're going to kick this video off today with setting these up so they turn on automatically and off automatically depending on how much battery power there is and how much hydrogen I have stored up, because the last thing I want to do is run out of hydrogen. So we're going to go into the control room and build some event controllers and see what we can do about setting that up. And then after that's done, I think we're going to start building a refinery racks down there and maybe finish out the rest of the ship loading and unloading. We'll see. Alright, so I think to start this off with, I'm going to want a bit of a status indicator thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that color and paint that block. Get a hinge set up over here. And we're going to add a small head. That looks really weird. Let's just make it weldless armor. Then we'll get the interior light on here. And another one on here. So these are going to be indicators for when we're low on hydrogen. So let's go here and call it H2, and let's say 10%. And this one will be about 25%. Let's get a third one on here. Call this BAT 90%. Oh, I guess I could have capitalized it. And I'm going to turn them all off. And I'll change the colors of them too, maybe. We'll do this back over here close to the power plant. 2 and 3 event controllers. I think we might need a 4th actually. And we'll go to the first one. We're going to call this base EC bat 10%. And this is going to be set to monitor charge. Stored power. Of the base batteries. Equal or less than let's say 25%. So when this stored power is equal or less than 25%, we want to turn that light off. On, sorry. Otherwise, turn it off. Okay. This is going to be copy that. %. Again, stored power. Base batteries. Add blocks. And an AND gate to this one. Actually. And your action equal or greater than. So then we're going to go at 90%. Toggle block on and toggle block off. And as a matter of fact, I want this guy to be set to AND as well. This is going to be for the hydrogen tanks. %. Cargo filled. Let's see if it does the 4 tanks. It does. But I think there is a gas tank filled % we want to use. Add blocks and gate. Threshold 10%. Equal or and this action is going to be the H2 light. Block on, toggle block off. So this one's going to be engines run. And it's going to be set to block switched on or off. And I want to have that light and bat 25%. And I want it to be an AND gate. And then your actions is going to be the engines turn on. And you, the batteries at 90, your actions are going to be on page 2. Engines turn off. So the way this is going to work then is we have hydrogen, we have a low battery condition, it turns the engines on. Because it'll turn both these lights on. See if I turn this block on. Oops. Maybe I should have not done that. Hinge lock on. So both those lights are on right now. Come up here. Should have turned that on. What did I screw up there? Oh, I forgot to turn the light on. Stupid me. Now if we go out here. It's on. But it's not doing anything because those tanks are all on stockpile. Now if we get low in hydrogen, this light should turn off, which should disable them. If we get low on batteries, it's showing that now, so it's on. And then we have this light for when the engines hit 90%. So that would be this guy here. You can see we're at 57.1%. They're all kind of slowly charging up. And it'll take them a while. What's this guy telling us right now? Tanks are at 14%. So when these drop down to 10%, the hydrogen light should shut off, and the engine should shut off, in theory. But they're going to have to run for a bit. So I'll let that go, and I'll come back, and we'll have a look and see what it did. Well, I didn't really like how that was all looking with the lights. I didn't know what anything was doing, so I replaced it with LCD panels and reset all the settings so the light should change depending on the levels now. When hydrogen gets over 10%, the middle one should light up, and at which point, since the batteries are between 25 and 90%, the engine should turn on. When they burn down the hydrogen and I get below 10%, they should shut off. So hopefully that works, or if the batteries get all the way up to 90%, they shut off the engines. Hopefully I don't have any loops. There we go. H2 is greater than 10%. Batteries are still in the area, and the engines are on. Batteries are charging up. So yeah, that's the power automated. So I think next up we're going to get down on the main floor and start looking at some refinery action. Well, I think I'm going to start with the refineries down at this end. I'm not really sure how I'm going to lay them out, so I'm just going to tinker with this a little bit here and see what I can come up with. Got room for the module on the back and some walk room. We'll do 1, 2 for iron, maybe 2 for cobalt. And we'll do 1 for nickel, 1 for silicon, gold, silver, magnesium, and stone. Might as well get these yield modules put onto the back while I'm here. Now I want to have all of these refineries dedicated, so I will be using filters for the input. So maybe what we'll do is we'll get a filter for the output too. If I remember correctly, the output is in that corner. So I think with them being built, I'm going to go and load up the welding ship with a bunch of materials next, and start getting my weld on, and then we'll have a look at what these look like afterwards, name them, and set them up. So yeah, there we go. Well, it looks like I have this ship fully stocked up with materials now, as much as I can. I've got enough for all 10 refineries, all 11 cargo containers, and probably about 30 of the sorters I was able to fit into here. We're at 400,000 kilograms. It's a pretty heavy ship, but it's still holding its elevation. I don't think I really showed this before being completely full, but we're going to take this and go weld it up. Well, there we have it. All of the conveyor tubing is in place, the refineries are in place, and the storage tanks are in place. So all I've got to do is finish up welding up those yield modules, which is going to take absolutely forever. So I'm going to get that all done and get the piping around the room done, and then we'll come back and look at the setup of this thing. Now that that's all welded up all the way around, all the yield modules are done, it's time to start setting up all these filters. So I'm going to leave this one colored yellow as I did before. Go into the control panel for it. We're going to call this base sorter or in. And we're going to set this to whitelist. Unfortunately, considering that ice is classed as an ore, I have to manually go and pull everything out of the list. So we'll go down through the list and we'll add everything to it. Cobalt ore, gold ore, iron ore, magnesium ore, nickel ore, old scrap metal, silicon ore, silver ore, stone. I think that's everything. Iron, cobalt, nickel, silicon, silver, gold, magnesium, scrap metal, and stone. Alright, I think that's going to be how that goes. So I want to copy that name. I'm going to go right down to the very end here. Oh, where's the control panel for that? Oh, these are going to be a bugger. This is going to be iron ore in. So again, whitelist. We're going to find iron ore. Add that to the list. We might as well get old scrap metal in there too, because that can be refined in an iron refinery. Scrap metal as well. Well, there's old scrap metal and scrap metal. I don't know what old scrap is. We'd better add that to the list up here though. What we'll do up top here, and this is going to be a pain in the butt, is this is going to be a, let's actually paste it, base sorter, refinery, backfeed. Because this is just to stop ingots from flowing back into the refinery. Probably didn't need it, but I wanted to get a block gap in here anyways, so what's a few extra sorters? Alright, these ones are to drain the ingots out of the refineries. And these are going to be the exact same thing. That's the ore one. So the ore one is going to be set to drain all on. So this will pull everything out of the ship as far as those materials go. All the ore, it'll pull out, filter down into here. Where was I? Yeah. Okay, setting up this sorter. So this sorter here, we want this, I got them set up, but whitelist for ingots, drain all. So this is going to empty the refinery's ingots only up into this tank. And then this one is going to be set up to not drain all, but it's still going to filter for ingots, so it'll only pull the ingots out. Well, I'm coming in here with a full load of iron, so this should give me enough time to run around and troubleshoot anything. The whitelist thing copied between everything, so I shouldn't see iron in any other container. Docked. Battery's off. It's unloading fast. Maybe. We should come up here and see in this chest a bunch of iron. Filling in there out of that ship. Let's see what this refinery has in it. Nothing yet. This is going to be base refinery. Iron? Base or cargo. This one will be base iron ingot cargo. Okay, so I guess all we can do is turn this guy on. It's got iron coming in. It's only pulling what it needs. It's running all the ingots. They should be going into here. And they are. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, this one needs to be set up for iron ore. Old scrap metal. Ah, we just heard it kick in. Scrap metal. Okay. So now if we go up here. And it's doing its thing. This guy's getting iron ingots. So if one fills up before the other, it will jam up the refineries. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these together on the back side here with some conveyor belts later. And I'm going to get the rest of these all set up and filtered out. And now that you see how that's going to be set up, I think I'm going to call this an episode. I'd like to thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed it. Setting up refineries can be a little boring, so I hope you enjoyed the little time lapse there. And when we come back next time, I am going to be decorating this up and providing some supports and just doing a little bit of artsy stuff with it. And if we have enough time after that, we might start building a better miner, because that one just doesn't hold enough. I want something bigger. These are big. Everything's big. Our miners should be big. And we should be able to tie in our assembly lines and clean up the pink mess of doom over there so that we're all tied in on the new base. So, and I look forward to getting the next one out to you.